All right, I'm the flat rate master, and well, shop owners all over the country, probably all over the world, run very horrible businesses. They just do. All right, so we're going to talk about shop owners that really don't understand how to run a business. It's a huge problem, and it's not unique to auto repair. Most business owners really do not understand how to run a business. They might run a business well enough to be successful, but they don't understand how to maximize running their business. Now, my boss consults with various shops and he tells me stories, and it's horrible. And on top of that, the groups I'm in on Facebook, etc., the messages I get reinforce that to the extreme. Now, I'm going to tell you a story just so you understand that it's not just in auto repair. Now, my wife was unemployed for about 6 months after the company she worked for over 20 years lost the remainder of their residential properties. They didn't have a position for her. They didn't want to, but they had to, let her go. So she took a company running their accounts receivable department. Now, my wife has, decades of experience running accounts receivable, a job she was 100% qualified to do. The company that hired her, however, is completely inept. It's in property management, apartments, and stuff like that. They have no idea how to run a property management company, let alone an accounts receivable department. As a good example of that, right before they hired her, they fired the complete AR department except one person. Brought my wife in. Oh, we don't have anybody to do your job. Good luck. She spent a week in Zoom calls getting introduced to people. Nobody taught her how to use their system. Nobody told her how they expected things to be done. She then got told, well, this guy that we fired, he did these great reports. I want these. She didn't have access to them. It's a great example of mismanagement. She no longer works for that company for obvious reasons. The friend of hers that got them in contact, he doesn't work for the job either. Her former boss quit. The company was acquired. Bad idea. My wife did the accounts receivable. They're hemorrhaging money. So I'm giving this as an example. This is a multi-million-dollar company that doesn't know how to run its business. Like glaring problems across the board with this company. And my wife that's why she quit. They're paying her buttloads of money, but it was just ridiculous how inept that company was. I'm telling that story because most independent shops are on a much smaller scale, but the issues with management scales exponentially with the size of the company as far as the smallness of it. A smaller shop needs to maximize what it produces simply for income, whether it's for paying shop expenses, paying employees, etc. You have to make enough money to make it viable. You don't have investors handing you millions of dollars to keep you in business. They did. Just saying. So you need to look at your business as a whole and how you can improve it. Now, one of the things that I know a lot of people are going to be fighting in the comments about is management training and, yes, coaching groups. Now, choose coaching groups very, very carefully. I'm not going to give any advice. I don't operate in that realm enough to know how good each, group is. But a coaching group can do something that, very few other people can. They can look at your business from the outside and see the inefficiencies, see the problems that you have. It's not a simple matter of, raise your rates and everything will be great. And I know a bunch of coaching groups preach flat rate. There's reasons for that, and I'm not going to get into that discussion in this video, but the fact of the matter is but business owners really are poor judge of how their business is actually running. They look at their paycheck, because they're an employee of the corporation as well, so they get a paycheck. They see profits. They don't see the problems in that business, inefficiencies of running that business. They see, well, everything's working. I'm making a profit. I'm making good money doing this. And they don't see the problems, rose-colored glasses and all. How does your shop look to the street? How does your shop look to a customer coming into the waiting room? To give a really good example of that, I used to travel around for a couple different companies, Motorvac and Challenger lifts, and I'd go into shops and I'd be disgusted at their customer waiting room, reception, the rooms that customers would perceive. Shops, for the most part, the actual shop of the business is rarely seen. Now here, glass all the way across, everybody can see this shop. But a lot of shops aren't like that. So they can only perceive the waiting room. The waiting room shouldn't have things like girly posters. They shouldn't have, let's just say explicit material in them. Comfortable, but not so comfortable that customers want to wait. Just saying. And, they should have a positive impact on your business. But shop owners that come in every day, they won't see the dingy paint, the cobwebs, the dirty carpet, the stained carpet, because techs are walking through there and they just won't see it. Whereas an outside coach can look at it and go, you need to fix this. And that's just one little thing that can change the perception of your business, is just having a nicer waiting room. Waiting room, I use in quotations because you really don't want customers waiting. What I mean, though, is where the customer is going to interact with your service writer, you as a business owner. You want that perception to be very good. Well, walking into a nasty, gross office does not instill confidence of how they're going to get their car back. If anything, the most meticulous, cleaned rooms in the building should be the front room and the customer bathroom. Those rooms should look like they're in a museum. They should be, in a display, not in a shop that is used every day, because that is a customer perception. That's one of the things coaches will talk to you about. Now, management training itself, Vision in Kansas City just happened. Lots of people went to management classes there. Some were positive, some weren't. It gets you thinking about stuff you may not do in your shop. Adding perceived value to your services. Whether it's offering Ubers, to the surrounding area so a customer doesn't have to wait, or they have a way to get their car and get their car back. Shuttle services or loaner cars, stuff to think about. Implementing, standard operating procedure for how a customer is received in the shop as far as the front desk. Understanding how customer interactions can affect your sales. There's so much nuance to sales other than, you want to buy it? Getting your management team and your shop owner, I know this is more of a technician channel, but show it to your boss. Get them into management training. Get them to take some service writer classes. Get them to take some shop management classes. Get them to think about looking at getting a coach. Now, coaching groups, again, you need to be careful because there's some coaching groups that are, I'm going to say, less than ethical in how they want you to run your business, which I 100% disagree with. So make sure they choose their coaching groups very wisely because it can be catastrophic in different ways than just your income. I'll give an example of a coaching group problem. You constantly have to increase your advertising because you no longer have returning customers. They realize you have, well, priced yourself out of the market, and they can literally go other places way cheaper because you're trying to get every penny out of every customer you can, with high pressure sales tactics, other things that I think are, unethical. We don't do we don't do any of those kind of things here, but it can very much turn a shop that has a lot of returning customers, like this shop, into a shop that has to churn in new customers every day because that's the only way they get business. I've seen it where a shop is at this level, they get into a management group, their sales creep up a little bit as far as dollar amount, and then their advertising budget goes up, 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 up. Ooh! And you notice the sales part didn't move. Might have moved a little bit here and there, but in order to keep that level, they had to keep bringing in new customers because old customers were no longer coming back because they felt high pressure sales, or they realized the pricing was just out of the market. So a lot of stuff to consider. So if you're a shop owner, think about getting training, look at maybe getting a coach. I know a lot of shop owners are very opposed to that kind of thing, but having someone else looking at your business may considerably help you and your employees. If nothing else, go to management training. Figure out how to run your business better. I know this was kind of preachy, but as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.